Viewers, Hindus are inclusive to a fault. They welcome debate about their most closely held beliefs. But that doesn't mean that they don't respect their faith and the power of their rituals. If they didn't believe, 1 in 3 Indians would not have taken a holy dip in the ongoing Maha Kumbh. But it appears that some delight in taking advantage of the forbearance of Hindus. Mamata Banerjee, Bengal Chief Minister, is just the latest. She has labelled the Maha Kumbh a Mrityu Kumbh. Can you believe it, viewers? A Mrityu Kumbh. She says, viewers, that Maha Kumbh is now a Mrityu Kumbh. There is no planning, systems in place for rich and VIPs only. She goes on to say, there is no arrangement for the poor at the Kumbh. And BJP sells religion just to divide the country. This is what she says. Viewers, listen in.
Mahakumbh আমি নাইবা বললাম ওটা এখন মৃত্যু কুম্ভ হয়েছে কিন্তু প্ল্যানিং না করে এত হাইপ তুলে বড় লোক আর ভিআইপিদের জন্য লক্ষ টাকার ক্যাম্প আর গরিব লোকেদের সাধারণ লোকেদের জন্য লাইনে দাঁড়ান 15 ঘন্টা 20 ঘন্টা দাঁড়িয়ে যদি একটা মাদুরেও বসে 2000 টাকা এই হাইপ তুলছেন আর টাকা কামানোর জন্য ধর্মকে বিক্রি করছেন তাদের আমি মন থেকে মেনে নিতে পারি না।
Now viewers, Mamata isn't the only one who has tried to shake the faith of millions of Hindus in the salvation they hope to attain by attending the Maha Kumbh. I'll give you some hard facts, viewers, which will stun you. These are undeniable, irrefutable hard facts, viewers, which confirm a certain pathology. Look at what RJD Supremo Lalu Prasad Yadav said. He said, the Maha Kumbh is useless. Don't even bother to go. Samajwadi Party Chief Akhilesh Yadav said there was no such thing like a Maha Kumbh. It didn't even exist in history. Yesterday, viewers, I interviewed Sadhguru and he traced the entire origins of the Maha Kumbh into our Indic past, viewers. Then there was Samajwadi Party MP Jaya Bachchan who said that, you see, the bodies of victims have been thrown in the river and the entire river is polluted. Karnataka Deputy Chief Minister D.K. Shivkumar has said there is no need to go to the Kumbh. Come to our festival. Samajwadi Party MP Afzal Ansari has said heaven will be houseful looking at the massive crowd. Viewers, have you ever heard the Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee or any other of these people or top India bloc leaders say something like this, for example, about the Hajj? As painful as it is to recall morbid tragedies and events, here is a list of Hajj stampedes and tragedies that have led to an unacceptable loss of life in Mecca during the annual pilgrimage. Let me read out, viewers. Would they have said anything about the Hajj? Would they have called it, viewers, like they have called the Maha Kumbh today a Mrityu Kumbh? Would they have used that word? Would they have prefixed it to the Hajj? I don't know, viewers. I don't think so because I've never heard it. In 1990, Minna Tamil stampede took place. 1,426 people died. In 1994, stoning ritual stampede, 270 people died. In 1998, stoning ritual stampede again happened. 118 died. 2001, stoning ritual stampede again happened. 35 dead. Stoning ritual stampede deaths led to 251, viewers. This is in 2004. In 2006, the Minna stampede deaths again happened. 346 this time perished. 2015, again there was a stampede in Minna. Deaths over 2,400. The official Saudi toll was 769. The double standards at work here force us to ask some basic questions. More than a third of Indians, including crores of Bengalis, have taken a dip and returned safely. But Chief Minister Banerjee is still calling the Maha Kumbh a Mrityu Kumbh. Would India bloc leaders ever dream of using the same words to label Muslim, Sikh and Christian pilgrimages? Is the India bloc trying to shake the faith of millions attending the Maha Kumbh because they fear its unifying effect on Hindus? is Hindu forbearance being taken for granted by the India bloc politicians? Viewers, these are some specific questions and they need to be asked tonight, because enough, frankly, is enough. Yes, we are open as Hindus to inquiry, to blasphemy. We don't recognize all of this. But insult? Surely that's pushing it a bit too far. Let's ask some fundamental questions, viewers. Let's open this up. We have a lot to discuss tonight, and I want to begin with the Samajwadi Party spokesperson on the show. He's one of those whose leaders, of course, his name is Tariq Khan, needs no introduction. He's been on our show earlier, and his views will hurt you, viewers. They will hurt you. But you will have to show the same forbearance. Tariq Khan, I want to ask you this. So many people have died in other pilgrimages or other faiths. Why haven't you ever questioned and used labels like you are using now to describe those?
People of India, am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are very audible to me.
Okay. So, what you're saying that we should ask question to the Saudi government if people have died over there. Okay. People of India, near about 140 crore people, have voted for Prince Salman. Prince Salman. Who would be accountable to the people of the country? Prince Salman would be accountable. We should go there and ask him that why the people have died. Because if we live in India, in a democratic country, we shouldn't ask the Prime Minister if there is some type of problem in our country. It's all right.
Of course.
You have drawn a very, very, very great comparison with the stampede of Makkah, Medina, where there is no
so
correlation.
That's your point. That's your
there
point.
Is no
is that your point? Is that
there
your point?
Should be no
is that the sum and
correlation.
substance of your point?
There should be no correlation.
Is that the sum and substance of your point, sir?
What is happening in India?
He said there should be no correlation. Now, viewers, let me break this down for you. Let me expose their double speak. Do Indians not go to Mecca and Medina, viewers? Weren't we, the taxpayers, footing the bill of hundreds and thousands over the years of our Muslim brothers and sisters who were going for the Hajj? Don't they continually ask for these bursaries from the Indian government? Didn't they criticize the Supreme Court when the Supreme Court said after a certain year, no more? Viewers, these people, when Trump returns, Indians who have thrown their passport into the Potomac River in America, when he returns them, these same people say, ask Trump, why is he ill-treating our Indian brothers and sisters abroad? Viewers, then they don't say, is Modi a legislator in America? No, viewers. These people, viewers, have become so conditioned to abusing Hindu religious festivals that they don't recognize what they do anymore, viewers. I wasn't in any way taking offense at Mamata Banerjee questioning the Yogi government. What is the meaning of saying Mrityu Kumbh? This is not questioning, viewers, the Yogi government. This is branding, slagging off, insulting the Kumbh itself, as if it's a death trap. That is the equation. That is what we are taking offense to. Viewers, I asked him that question. Did you ever equate the pilgrimage to the Hajj, viewers, where so many people have died so regularly, with a death trap? And he says you can't draw the parallel. Because, viewers, for them there is no parallel. No other religion even comes close. You can trash every other religion. I want to bring in Dr. Ranganathan. I want to bring in Sanju Verma. I want to bring in Tausif Khan. Dr. Ranganathan, you heard this? You can't draw a parallel. You see, we shouldn't be looking at things from same lens. You see, we didn't elect the government in Saudi Arabia, etc., etc. So why question it? As if your citizens, when they cross the border with legitimate visas on taxpayer money, become dispensable and disposable. How do you respond to this gentleman, Mr. Khan?
Good evening, Rahul, and good evening to my fellow panelists. Look, 50 people have died in the Kumbh, and of course, every life is precious, and responsibility for the tragedy that has led to those deaths must be put on people who were responsible for the
Absolutely.
maintenance of law and order. But the fact is, 528 million Indians have visited the Kumbh in the last month. That's more than double the population of Brazil. Last year, Rahul, 68 Indians, many from Bengal, were amongst the 525 who died during the Hajj. Would Mamata have dared to use the same offensive affixation that she used for Kumbh, calling it Mrityu Kumbh? Look, let us accept it. Hatred for Hindus has been perfected into an art form by the TMC. It required the two strands, open discrimination against Hindus and open appeasement for Muslims, to be intertwined. And the TMC has achieved this to such an extent, Rahul, that now it is impossible to disentangle the two. Let me explain. By claiming recently that some monks of the Ramakrishna mission and ISKCON are BJP stooges. Did not Mamata mainstream Hindu phobia? Remember how Didi recently warned Hindus to not venture in quote unquote Muslim areas? Or her silence at TMC Sheikh Alam boasting 4 Pakistans can be created if 30% Muslims come together? Or her silence at TMC MLA saying Taliban style beatings happen in Muslim Rashtra? Or her silence at Mayor of Kolkata saying being non-Muslim is unfortunate? Or her silence at Havra violence in response to Nupur, or giving ticket to Sayoni of condom over Shivling fame, whether it be changing Ram Dhenu to Wrong Dhenu, taking objection to Jai Shri Ram slogans, opposing CAA, calling Batla encounter fake, appointing a Muslim on Tarkeshwar temple board, providing midday meal dining hall for only those schools having 70% or more minority students, curtailing the time duration traditionally permitted for Durga idol immersion to make way for Muharram procession, granting 2.6 crores of taxpayers' money to Furfura Sharif, promising to give land to imams for construction of houses, paying more than 30,000 imams, 2,500 per month, and over 15,000 muezzins, 1,500. Till this blatant communal move was struck down by the High Court. 8 years later, in the face of uproar, she sanctioned a much lower stipend and much lesser number for Hindu priests. Muslims form 30% of Bengal population, but 66% of the OBC groups in Bengal are Muslims. And when accused of Muslim appeasement, you remember what she famously said? Je Guru doodh dei tar lathiyo khete hoi. If a cow gives milk, one has to be prepared for its kicks. Rahul, demographic shift is a reality in Bengal. And you know what happens? Changing demography shifts a government's decision towards appeasement. This is the fact. And nobody will realize this, or nobody will say it openly, least of all people in Bengal.
Well, viewers, I want to remind you there was post-poll violence in Bengal, and Hindus had to flee their homes. And I'm not saying this, this was the imprimatur was given by the courts itself. An entire commission was sat. And the commission came out and said very clearly that this had happened. Then, viewers, Mamata Banerjee's heart didn't bleed for Hindus, did it? Then she wasn't talking about how in her state there is Mrityu. It has become a death trap. Mrityu Bengal. She didn't use those words, viewers. Let's not forget all these slides. And I want to bring in Tausif Khan. Tausif Khan, hatred for Hindus has been hardwired, says Dr. Anand Ranganathan, into the TMC, to the extent that we see these odious prefixes being attached with Hindu spiritual festivals. Can you respond, please?
See, all BJP people, including you, Rahul, why are you getting this mirchi lag rahi hai aap logon ko, mirchi? Because Mamata Banerjee has spoken the truth. People are dying in Mahakumbh. Those who are attending the Mahakumbh, and mainly the poor and middle class, they have died in stampede. They have died because of various mismanagement by the government. Government has failed to organize the Kumbh in the way they should have. Government invited so many people across the world. It was a Mahakumbh. It was not just the Mayor Kumbh. This Mahakumbh does not come very often. Therefore, government was anticipating that people will come. But what has the government done? Zero management. There is a separate arrangement for rich You pay 1 lakh rupees, you get tent, you get special way to go and do the snan.
Wow.
Whereas for the poor people, they have to wait for 15 hours.
Of course.
There is people from West Bengal died.
Tell me something.
People from West
did
Bengal
the family
died
of
in the Kumbh.
did the family of Mr. Yadav hello 1 second, did the family of Mr. Yadav not go in a boat? What was that VIP treatment? Listen, hello,
that is
hello,
what
1
we are
second.
saying.
You know, when
Have
you
we-
use
have we
cheap
not
words
seen-
like
have we
mirchi
not
lag
seen
rahi hai,
Ambani's,
I know
Adani's
you've been watching
and
Ranveer
all the
Allahabadia
VIPs.
videos. Too
They have
many
a special
videos.
way.
You have been watching Ranveer Allahabadia videos. Your language is so crass. It is so cheap, Mr.
What
Khan.
nonsense you are saying?
So,
Rahul,
so
you have lost
crass
the
and
plot.
cheap. Mirchi
You are-
lag rahi
you are
hai.
admitting-
Now let me
you
1
are
second, viewers. Let
admitting
me
that you are
just
so-
let me very
annoyed
quickly give you
because
some points.
Mamata Banerjee
Let
spoke
me
the
give you
truth.
some points,
People
viewers.
are dying.
They were
People
in
are dying
hang
in
on.
Mahakumbh.
Just a minute. Let me
Obviously,
speak.
it is
Let me
Kumbh.
speak, sir. Let me
People
speak.
are
You have
going to
spoken
die.
enough. You have
There is
spoken
still
crass
dying.
nonsense
There is-
tonight,
there is
Mr. Khan.
fire.
1 second. Let me just very
Every now
quickly,
and then there is fire.
viewers. Let me very quickly put this into perspective. Mr. Khan will go on blathering on abusively because he's a cheap troll. Now, viewers, let me tell you this, and it's very, very clear. And I want to bring in Sanju Verma, but I just want to point out a couple of things, viewers. Law and order, organization, etc., all state subjects. So there was a tragedy, viewers, during Durga Puja. During Durga Puja idol immersion in Jalpaiguri district. What did Mamata do about that, viewers? Several people died. Kachua temple stampede in 2019, Loknath Dham temple in Kachua, North 24 Paraganas district. Stampede occurred due to the collapse of an old wall. What did Mamata say then? Mamata only has a problem with what's going on beyond the borders of Bengal, viewers. Dhulagar riots in 2016, law and order is a state subject, viewers. They happened during a religious procession, communal clashes, and I don't need to go into the details of that. Please read up yourselves, viewers. There have been several such instances. Several such instances, and I have a whole list here. I can go through them minute by minute, second by second. But Sanju Verma, how do you respond to this? Oh, they are only talking about the fact that there weren't enough facilities and that there was an inequity in the manner in which the rich and poor were treated, and therefore they thought it necessary to call it a Mrityu Kumbh.
You know, first and foremost, Rahul, as a fellow panelist, I completely condemn the language used by the TMC supporter. I've known you to be very, very tolerant and you don't get easily provoked. Let me put some things, and if you got provoked, you have every right to do so. Now, let me come to the moot point of the debate. You know, you laid out the tenor of the debate by showcasing statistics right from 1990 when, 1,426 people died at Mina, which is basically a small town 8 kilometers southeast of Mecca. Then you have 346 people who died at Mina in 2006 and 2,400 people who died at Mina in 2015. But it's not about your statistic versus mine or your number of deaths versus mine. That is not what we are here to discuss. Yes, my heart goes out to the people who died at Kumbh and a couple of days back, at the stampede at New Delhi railway station. And I always say, let accountability be fixed without shoving the hard truths under the carpet.
Yeah.
Having said that, I don't think the BJP or any bona fide Hindu needs to take lessons in tolerance from a Hindu-phobic chief minister, that is Mamata Banerjee. Be it the Malda riots of 2016, the Dhulagar riots of 2016, the Boshirhat riots of 2017, the Bhaduria riots of 2018, the Asansol riots of 2019, the Jadavpur riots of 2020, the Sitakulchi riots of 2021, or the Birbhum riots of 2022, the post-poll violence that we saw in, panchayat elections and in the assembly elections post-2021 and 2023. The biggest victims of Mamata Banerjee's Hindu phobia have been Hindus. And most of these riots that I spoke of, from Boshirhat and Dhulagar to Bhaduria, were all, these riots took place only because of one reason. Mamata Banerjee either did not want Hindus to celebrate Ram Navami, or did not want Hindus to celebrate Hanuman Jayanti, or did not want any Hindu to so much as criticize her in mild terms on Facebook, or did not want Hindus to carry out Durga procession on the same day as Muharram, in case there was a clash between Durga Puja and Muharram processions. That is the kind of Hindu phobia which has been legitimized by Mamata Banerjee, so much so that Ram Navami is now called Ranga Navami in textbooks in West Bengal. And Ram Dhenu is called Ranga Dhenu. You have a problem with the word Ram. Can you imagine Ram Navami being called Ranga Navami in West Bengal with a 10.6 crore population, of which even today more than 70% are Hindus? So let's not get into the territory of appeasement politics, because that is something that Mamata Banerjee does brazenly, and nothing that anyone says can excuse what she has been doing under the garb of secularism. But I just want to say one thing very quickly for the benefit of your audience. Can I just finish?
Let her finish, sir. You can respond.
No question of getting jealous.
You are getting jealous of Ma Durga and Ma Kali. You are only getting
Oh
jealous
my
of Ma
God.
Durga and Ma Kali.
Rahul, what kind of debate is this? I'm getting jealous. What exactly is this one topic?
this gentleman, I don't think is within his senses tonight. I think I'm quite
Can I
stunned.
please finish?
I don't even know if you're. I don't even know if you're understanding and comprehending what we are talking about. You're just here to slander people. That's it, Mr. Khan, and you're not doing a good job either of slandering or defending your party. So anyhow,
Rahul,
I'll leave
you
it to
don't
you,
need
sir, to
Rahul,
provoke. I'll leave it to you to
unsolicited
provoke.
advice
It's okay.
or
You have the freedom of speech, sir.
certificate.
I will never
finish?
stop you. You
go
can
and do your
abuse
job.
me.
Be a
You can
Modi
abuse. You can
Rahul,
abuse
you be a
Hindus.
Modi you go and
You
do
can
your job.
undermine
You
their
don't need to
culture. You can
any
undermine their
unsolicited
tradition.
advice
Sir,
or
you're welcome
certificate
to do
me.
it. Carry on. Yes, Sanju Verma.
Rahul?
Yeah.
Thank you. Rahul, as Mr. Ranganathan said, the number of people who have already visited the Kumbh. I don't want to get into the semantics of
True.
Kumbh versus Maha Kumbh, though your interview with Sadhguru yesterday was brilliant and he showcased facts for the benefit of everyone who's
Okay.
a non-believer or an atheist.
The
But I
point
just
being-
want to say one thing.
Yes.
I want to say one thing very quickly. Can you imagine if me or any even small-time BJP leader had said, like Lalu Yadav said, "Arey ye sab Kumbh, Mahakumbh वगैरह फालतू चीज है, इसे बंद करो." Or the rabid statement by Mamata Banerjee calling Mahakumbh as Mrityu Kumbh. Or look at Akhilesh Yadav. He leaves
That's
no
the point.
stone unturned and no opportunity
That's
to
the point,
undermine
viewers.
the credibility of Sanatan Dharma.
Can you imagine?
what would
Can
have
you
happened?
imagine any BJP, any Hindu leader who subscribes to a particular ideology that is non-India Alliance, viewers, saying that X or Y festival celebrated by X or Y minority is faltu? Dr. Ranganathan, I can't imagine. I can't imagine that. The reason, viewers, these people get away by saying this about Hindu and their traditions is because Hindus are tolerant. And that's why I asked, do you take Hindus for granted? And I'll give you an example, Samajwadi Party, and I want to bring in Dr. Ranganathan as well as Mr. Tariq Khan. Look at this Samajwadi Party, viewers. They tied up with the AAP in the Delhi election. The same AAP whose ex-councillor was one of the prime accused in one of the worst instances of anti-Hindu rioting in New Delhi in 2020. The man, viewers, was in jail till he was released on bail just to campaign. No one from amongst them said, why should this man even be given a ticket? MIM gave him a ticket, viewers. Did any of these chaps come out and say, very wrong? He should not be given a ticket? You know what they said, viewers? He's innocent till he's proven guilty. Can you imagine, viewers, what they said about Sadhvi Pragya and company? When Sadhvi Pragya had got relief after relief from the courts and she was then given a ticket. No, they said this is communal, this is anti-Muslim, this is Islamophobia. Then why isn't the reverse, viewers, Hindu phobia? Dr. Ranganathan, let me bring in Tariq Khan and you together. Dr. Ranganathan, can you expound on this, please? And I want a response from Tariq Khan after that.
No, first of all, I wholeheartedly condemn the offensive words used against you, Rahul. And it just goes on to show that if life gives you a Khan, make it a Tariq, not a Tausif. But as far as the question of how choosing legislators who are blatantly bigoted are concerned, well, Mr. Hussain can say, my case is in the court of law, and yes, a man is innocent until proven guilty, blah, blah, blah. But the fact is, if you remember in 2019, there was a man called Qureshi.
Yes.
Who was given a BSP ticket. And on video, he said, I promise 51 crores to anyone who beheads Charlie Hebdo journalists. On record. And you know what happened? I think he contested from Meerut. He got 3 or 4 lakhs of votes. He lost by only 5,000. So there is a constituency that is very carefully nurtured by people, supposedly moderates like Tausif Khan. The problem is there. The problem is not the extremists. The problem is the people who cushion extremists, and they are the people like Tausif Khan.
Respond, Mr. Tasif Khan. You are so blind now to Hindu phobia. You actually have legitimized it to such an extent that you have zero defense.
All right, let me respond, Rahul. You see, an elected chief minister of West Bengal criticizing another chief minister of Uttar Pradesh for the mismanagement resulting into death of Indian citizen, including the death of the residents of West Bengal, and people like you on TV turning this into Hindu-Muslim. The person who is asking, who is criticizing the government is himself a Hindu Brahmin, a very devout, a lady for whom the people of the Bengal has respect and people of country
sure
has
she
respect.
is, sir.
Even
She's a devout
the
Hindu.
Prime Minister respects
but then
her.
tell me one thing.
And she has all the right.
Then
she
tell
has
me
all
one
the
thing.
right
Why
to
was
question
why had the court have to remind her? No, one
failure.
second. Then why did the court have to step in and remind her that she's
Why
favoring
are you
one
interfering?
second?
This is
Listen
the
to
problem
me.
with you. In
Listen
order
to me.
to prove
That
your
she was
Modi
favoring
bhakti,
one
you
community
have to
over the
speak about
other.
this is not
Why did the court have to
You
step
must
in to
learn
remind
how
her that
to-
she
how
was
to defend
favoring
that
one community over the
debate.
other? Simple question to you.
She is only talking about the safety of everyone who has
listen,
gone
listen. I wanted to
Whether
actually
it
bring
is
in Tariq Khan.
irrespective of
This
their
gentleman.
religion.
No, one second.
Irrespective of their religion.
No.
How do you know?
No,
who
one
has
second,
gone to
one
Maha
second.
Kumbh? She is only
One
asking
second,
a
one
question
second, one
against her
second.
counterpart.
Tausif Khan
about
jumped
his
in to
failure.
answer a
Uttar
question
Pradesh
that
government's failure,
was
Yogi's failure
targeted towards
to
Tariq
give-
Khan. So
to-
Tariq
to-
Khan,
to
let me
provide
ask you a
better
question. Did the Samajwadi Party support the AAP in this election, yes or no? And why did they do so if you're such a secular party when the AAP itself had links to a councillor who did what he did? Do I have to repeat what he did?
Listen, we supported Aam Aadmi Party because they are fighting with BJP and they are strong in that state. That was the
so it's
simple
okay.
reason we supported
Right.
Aam Aadmi
So
Party.
they could have nursed and nurtured an individual viewers that paid no heed to Hindu rights, but it doesn't matter to them because he was a winning candidate. That's all. It's about winning and losing at any and every cost. Viewers, the fundamental thing, and it's a politically inconvenient question that I've asked today and you didn't get a response. What if some Hindu leader, what if Sanju Verma today from the BJP had gotten up and said the same in inverse about the Hajj or some other pilgrimage? What do you think they would have said, viewers, tonight? You heard what they said tonight, viewers. Obfuscation to the point where, viewers, they have turned apologists for slander against the Kumbh. This is not about Adityanath. This is about a direct attack on the Kumbh. And they're doing it, viewers, because the Kumbh has shown to them the power of Hindu unity. They're rattled by it. They cannot understand it. They fear it. Why would you fear Hindu unity, viewers? That's the fundamental question. I'll leave it to you to think this through. I want to move on because this is an important subject that we're going to now look at, viewers, for a few moments. Viewers, there are two sides tonight in a debate. One is the Supreme Court, and on the other are certain individuals who support the men on your screen, the women on your screens. Who are these people? These are, viewers, individuals like Badshah, a singer, Rakhi Sawant, Urfi Javed, others. And they say that people like Allahabadia have the freedom to say whatever they want to because this is a democratic, open country where the freedom of speech should be absolute. But no less than the Supreme Court has today labeled Ranveer Allahabadia pervert. These are not my words now, viewers. These are all the Supreme Court's words. The top court tore into Ranveer Allahabadia for his degeneracy, with Justice Surya Kant saying, and I quote him, there is something dirty in his mind which has been vomited on the YouTube show. Let's fire that court graphic, viewers. The bench, which also included Justice N. Koteshwar Singh, emphasized that his words, Allahabadia's words, would make daughters, sisters, parents and society feel ashamed, describing them as a clear example of perverted thinking. Let me read out now the entire quote to you. There is something dirty in his mind which has been vomited on YouTube show. His words would make daughters, sisters, parents and society feel ashamed. They are a clear example of perverted thinking, unquote. The Supreme Court bench then asked Allahbadia's counsel, Abhinav Chandrachud, who is the son of ex-CJI, D.Y. Chandrachud, to clarify what would constitute obscenity. In response, Chandrachud stated that the mere use of profanity would not be sufficient to define obscenity. He quoted a judgment delivered by the Supreme Court that defines obscenity. And he says, quote, if something excites, in the words of the court, lustful thoughts or sexual thoughts in the mind of a reasonable person, that would be obscenity, unquote. While spelling out the definition to the court, Chandrachud did admit that he was disgusted. The question is, by what, viewers? The perversion, the obscenity, the degeneracy, by what, viewers? By what was he so disgusted? The court will, of course, opine on the matter in due course, but as of now, it has issued orders protecting Allahabadia from arrest when he responds to summons issued by the police, if and when he does. As of now, viewers, he's been summoned thrice, but he hasn't shown up. He doesn't have the courage of conviction to come to the station and take straight questions. But it has also barred Allahabadia and all the other co-accused from making any more YouTube videos. The larger question is, of course, this. Can anyone who is concerned about public morality differ with the SC and agree with the likes of Rakhi Sawant and Urfi Javed and Badshah who defend Allahabadia? After the Supreme Court's castigation, is brand Allahabadia beyond redemption? Has Supreme Court been too subjective in its assessment of Allahabadia's comments? I'm keeping it very balanced, viewers, though my sympathies today are completely divorced from Allahabadia and gang. Viewers, let's open this up, and I want to bring in Kushal Mehra, who's a podcaster, Anand Ranganathan, Advaita Kala is also here with us. I want to first begin with Kushal Mehra. Kushal Mehra, the Supreme Court, no less now, has come out and called Allahabadia, well, what can I say? I mean, where do I start? A person with a dirty mind is perhaps the gentlest part of the rebuke. So how do you respond to this, the Supreme Court characterization?
Well, I'm not the spokesperson of the Supreme Court or Ranveer Allahabadia. Why should I respond to what the Supreme Court has to say about Ranveer Allahabadia? I just have a question about, does the Supreme Court think all those politicians who were watching porn in the assemblies and in different states, what are they? I want the Supreme Court to comment on them. Maybe they can enlighten us about that also. I'm not a spokesperson of Ranveer Allahabadia or the Supreme Court of India.
Okay, but hang on, just a minute. So whataboutry is your response. What about them? Make an example of them. Make an example of someone else. And therefore, by doing that, because there might have been allowances, you discredit the exercise. What exactly are you saying? I can't understand. There are many corrupt people in this world. No, one second, Mr. Mehra. There are many corrupt people in this world. There are many under trials. The Supreme Court, I could have understood had you said, look at what the Supreme Court is prioritizing. There are 5 lakh under trials waiting some amount of adjudication. Their cases don't come up, but this chap's cases come up. I can understand you taking umbrage at the selectivity of the Supreme Court. But I can't understand this whataboutry. So take a position tonight. Do you believe the Supreme Court is being unfair on Allahabadia? Simple question.
Yeah, the Supreme Court is being unfair not just on Allahabadia.
Right.
The Supreme Court is being unfair on every single Indian by trying to monitor what people can and cannot say. It's as simple as that.
I see. So you believe
it's not about Ranveer Allahabadia.
You
it's
believe that what Allahabadia said he was within his rights to say it on a national platform.
I won't say it.
No, one second. You won't say it.
There is no national platform.
No, one second. Mr. Mehra, you won't say it. Why?
Because I find it cringe.
You find it what? Cringe? What is cringe?
Yeah.
I don't understand. What is this word cringe? Either it's cringeworthy,
unpalatable,
either it's
sir.
unpalatable. That's the word. Why is it unpalatable, sir? Because it offends something within you, right? Your morality, your something or the other gets triggered. Yes or no?
Yeah, so?
Yes, so let me ask you now, Mr. Mehta.
I'm
Mr.
Mehra, not Mehta.
Mr. Mehra. Mr. Mehra, let me ask you, simple question then. Is incest something that is obscene, unacceptable?
You're talking about incest being practiced in reality?
I'm just saying, is incest, is it to you obscene? Is anyone provoking the thought of incest obscene?
I think incest is evolutionarily unstable. That's my answer.
Okay. Well, viewers, then I suppose, what do I say? Advaita Kala.
Well, I have to say that what he said indeed is vulgar. There's no defending that. There's no accepting that. There's none of those things. However,
One second, Advaita Kala, just a minute. Vulgar, you said.
yes.
Vulgar. Okay. But it's not in any way degenerate.
You can give it any adjective you wish. It's definitely
No, I'll tell you
unacceptable
why.
in terms
Because if you really go into it, incest is degeneracy. Mr. Mehra seemed to imply that it goes against the laws of, he used a scientific term. And if you were to spin off from that, that's degeneracy. It produces degeneracy. Some people would say.
I think he said it's evolutionarily unstable.
Yeah.
And that's right on the scientific level. On the moral level, of course, it's degenerate as well. There's no denying that. I think the important thing here is that you have OTT platforms that do entire series on.
No, let's not go into that. We can discuss all of that. One second. We'll come to that. I'm first singling out this particular issue. I'm talking in a very specific context. No, one second, ma'am.
I'm speaking on a very
No, 1 second, Advaita Kala. Very, very clearly. Let's stick to the subject. I know that there is horrible content, there is obscene stuff. It incites, to use the definition of the Supreme Court, not my definition, it incites. If something excites, in the words of the court, lustful thoughts or sexual thoughts in the mind of a reasonable person, that would be obscenity. There is obscene content. Dr. Ranganathan will say it's on the walls of our temples, etc., etc. Cover all of those. He'll say all of that. But I'm not bothered about all of that. No, you won't say.
Absolutely not.
Okay, you won't say that. Okay. Okay, 1 second.
It's glorious content.
Okay.
Sorry,
Glorious.
Glorious.
Not obscene at all.
Okay, 1 second. Miss
Rahul,
Kala,
my
let's just come back to
only
this. The
issue-
Supreme Court has passed judgment on this issue, on this individual. Now, I want to ask you, how far do you agree with the Supreme Court? Let's stick to this debate at hand.
I agree with the Supreme Court that they've stalled all the FIRs that cannot now be levied against him or issued against him in any part of the country. That is correct. I do not agree with the fact that they've taken over his passport or that they're prohibiting him from making YouTube videos. I don't agree with that at all because that's impacting his livelihood and I don't think that's fair. I do believe that this is a little bit of judicial overreach. As far as an individual is concerned, he's already bearing the cost for this utterance. He's lost collaborations. He's had guests who refused to come. He's been cancelled at large by the public. A lot of his viewers. He's lost subscribers. So it's not like he is not facing consequences. But the Supreme Court, in its wisdom, has to decide between criminality and punishing someone and morality. And I'm afraid that morality of the citizen, of the individual, cannot be in the realm of the courts.
Right. So I just wanted to ask you, you said impacting his livelihood. Some people would say that he used these words, and these were not his own words. He pulled them out of some other shows, some other comedian or whatever you want to call them, YouTubers, influencers, to get likes and hits so that he could actually make more and more money. The Supreme Court, in fact, even refers to it. So he can profit from this. But when you punish somebody by saying that, sorry, you can't profit anymore from this, reform or do something different, etc., etc., then it's a problem, is it?
No, it's one show vis-a-vis
No, I'm
hundreds
asking you
of
very
hours of
simply this.
content.
Advaita Kala, there is no
but-
reason. Then you say
no,
that,
no, I'm
he should
speaking
be
as a
given his,
creative.
he should be
Rahul,
given his
I'm-
passport. Do you know where he is right
Rahul,
now? Why hasn't he
Rahul,
come
I'm-
before the police?
That I do not agree with. He should cooperate with the
Then
police.
how do you know he hasn't left the country?
As a creative, you can take a call which is right, which is wrong, which is offensive, which is celebrated. These are things that happen on the creative journey. For that to be completely cancelled and have this kind of McCarthyism that is going on is something that is unacceptable and will have a chilling effect on creativity.
Okay, well,
No
viewers,
one's
we'll have
supporting what he said.
to look at how the court interprets this entire issue. Dr. Ranganathan, without bringing in the father of the nation, etc., please make a larger point. Yes.
Yes, I won't bring in the father. I'll bring in Chacha of the nation. Because let's not actually blame the Supreme Court. They are going by what the law has been established. And the law has been established by the Constitution. And the Constitution was tinkered by Chacha, who brought in the First Amendment, which was a bit like Ford saying, you can have a car of any color as long as it is black. So we have freedom of expression in this country till the time that you do not offend someone, you do not offend public morality, you do not offend this, you not. So basically, you have subjected freedom of speech. And the moment you do it, who is to decide what is obscene, what isn't? Let me give you an example. Just to tell you, to clarify, I'm absolutely find it wondrous and the most glorious part of our Indian civilization to have the sculptures that we have on Khajuraho or Konark or wherever. But the time is not far when some Supreme Court judge would get up and say that the Sun Temple at Konark or Khajuraho or even Naga Sagu should be banned because they offend our public morality, because they are a threat to public order. This is the problem. Who is to draw the line, Rahul? Nobody can draw that line. And for clarification, the same Supreme Court's double standards, in fact, they are the ones that are vomit inducing at the risk of having a contempt of court. Not only is what the judge said wrong, the lawyer of Allahabadia brought in Nupur saying what she said, quoted hadith, was far worse. Really? So quoting a revered Islamic scripture is far worse than coaxing someone to indulge in incest. And as far as the Supreme Court judge is concerned, may I ask him, does India have laws for incest? They don't. Do I find marrying a 9-year-old girl obscene? I find marrying a cousin obscene. I find a mama marrying a cousin or a nephew obscene. Do the Supreme Court judges find it obscene?
I think
Who is to draw the line?
that is not obscenity. I think the definition that the Supreme Court, I think we're confusing issues here. If there is a law on obscenity, the court has to go into it. The police have filed a case. Now, we may not agree with the law. Again, to say that, look, there will be a time when the Khajuraho statues will be covered by the Supreme Court is again subjective analysis, viewers. No one has done it till now. We don't know if it will happen. We can't assume in the structured debate that we are having, in the context and the paradigm we are debating. So if there is a law on the books, viewers, there are 3 things that happen. Number 1, the law is applied, and then the matter goes to obviously a court. Number 2, the law is applied, an FIR is filed, a summons is issued, a person is questioned to get a sense, and then charges are framed, and then the matter goes to the court. Or third, viewers, the police at the very beginning pass over any action by saying the law doesn't simply apply in this matter. Now, in this case, viewers, option 2 has been exercised. And this is where the debate gets interesting. The option 2 is that the police decided to file a case, summon this individual, the individual hasn't showed up. Now, the Supreme Court worries. There's an apprehension that this person may not at all show up, may disappear, has the means. One is already abroad, viewers. Mr. Samay Raina has said once or twice, I'll appear on Videocon or whatever it's called, video pod, Google, whatever it is, meets, and I'll do it with you on that. The court, the police said, I'm sorry, please appear in person. He hasn't appeared, viewers. Only 3 people out of 40 have appeared. Now, if this was applied across the board and everyone got an exception, you could have never anyone questioned in this country. It set such a bad precedent. So I don't understand what is going on. Are we hampering the application of the law here? If that is the case, then viewers, everyone will claim a degree of exception. They'll say, well,
Rahul, as I say, if I am not in jail right now,
yeah.
If I am not in jail right now, it is because the state has decided I need not be jailed.
True, true. Let the state, I'm not talking about the government here, I'm not talking about the exec, I'm talking about the courts. Let the courts sit in judgment. That's what they do. They will either refine the law, but we can't sit here and say that you can't show up for questioning because you think you're above it. Yeah. But you must also be given the benefit of doubt. You must be allowed to do whatever you want to do. You must continue down another stream. We must be sympathetic. Viewers, do we apply these same yardsticks to people who commit heinous crimes? No, we don't. Sartan se Juda gang will say tomorrow, yes, it's okay. What's the big deal? We live in an open democracy. We should be allowed to chant Sartan se Juda. What is the big deal? And people have actually invoked that principle, viewers. Can you believe it in our country? They've also dodged the consequences, the FIRs, because we have a very, very accommodative ecosystem. Anyhow, I'll leave it to you to decide, viewers. Let the court sit on this. Let Mr. Allahabadia prepare himself and appear when he deigns to appear. And let's hope you can get away by doing exactly the same, Advaita Kala, Dr. Ranganathan, Rahul Shivshankar and Mr. Mehra. That we will choose when we appear before the court or the police. Till then, we should do exactly how we are allowed to do. I don't know, viewers. I find it a bit bizarre. Maybe I'm old-fashioned. Let me move on. Viewers, the controversy has erupted in Telangana after the Revanth Reddy-led government permitted Muslim employees in state department, public sector units and education institutions to leave offices an hour early during the month of Ramzan. According to the Telangana government's guidelines released today, from March 2 to March 31, 2025, Muslim employees will be allowed to leave the office at 4 p.m. instead of the regular 5 p.m. Yes, viewers, allowance has been made. The Telangana government granted Muslim employees in government departments, public sector units, education institutions permissions to leave work an hour earlier than usual. The new rule, which will come into effect from March 2nd, 2025 and remain in place, viewers, until March 31st, 2025, allows Muslim employees to depart at 4 p.m. instead of the regular 5 p.m. The relaxation applies to all Muslim employees, including teachers, contract and outsourcing staff, as well as employees working in boards, corporations, and the public sector. Concessions such as these are not offered to Hindus during Navratras. This inequity raises questions about the state discriminating in favor of Muslims at the cost of all other faiths. The principle equal rights for all or none, it seems, has been tossed into the garbage by the Congress government that swears by constitutionalism. Dr. Ranganathan is here, Tausif Ahmed Khan is here, the political analyst. I just want to bring one thing for the purposes, viewers, of this discussion being fair. I broke news about an hour back. The Andhra government has also passed such an order. Exactly this. The Andhra government, viewers, which is an NDA government supported by the BJP, has come out and passed exactly this order. Now, viewers, Dr. Ranganathan, I am not going after the Congress here. I am not being party specific. I am being issue specific. Yeah. What does this tell us? What does this tell us about our country? Are Hindus really, very really second-class citizens? You call them eighth-class citizens. Can you explain? Because Mr. Khan will say, well, this is all very well and fine.
Well, there are dozens of examples, and you're absolutely right. No party can escape this. Every party, including the BJP, including its allies, are indulging in appeasement. And right now, it is impossible to cure this disease. It is a runaway form of disease. It is incurable. And the fact of the matter is, unless we go into the psyche of why people indulge in appeasement, I'm afraid there is no medicine for it. As I see it, there are three ways of appeasement. It starts with welfare, it goes to workfare, and it ends with warfare. So when I talk about welfare, it is with this flawed pretext that Muslim minorities are worse off than the rest. You remember, not for nothing did Prime Minister Manmohan Singh assert Muslims have the first right to resources. So you have, under the garb of welfare, state giving Muslims Hajj subsidies for decades, blanket reservations for Muslims, rich or poor, homeless or billionaire. by snatching it from the OBC quota, using taxpayers' money to host grand iftar parties, asking government-run UGC to fund minority institutions. You have scholarships, Shadi Shagun to Muslim women, providing midday meal dining hall for only those schools having 70% more minority students. So many others. Interest-free loans that the BJP government is giving to set up shops on Waqf land. Hundreds of madrasas are being funded in UP, in Assam, Islamic schools. And all this while grandly proclaiming that it's a secular state. Next comes Vogue Fair. Vogue Fair actually doesn't target the Muslims. It targets the Hindus. It targets the mind. This is where the Indian state employs a tactic to appease and benefit its Muslim vote bank by poisoning the Hindu's mind with self-loathing, hatred for his own religion, way of life, through speeches, broadcasts, policies, arts, culture, cinema. So you have our cities named after barbarians who destroyed our cities. You have opposing CAA, appointing Muslims on temple boards, overrunning of even Supreme Court judgments like the Shah Bano. But finally, vogue fair and welfare lead to the final nail in the coffin, which is warfare, which is when you actually enact laws that constitutionally and legally favor one community and discriminate against the other. So you have the Waqf Act, you have the conjunction of RT with the 93rd Amendment, you have the state prohibiting Hindus to even approach the court to reclaim their demolished temples, you have the state controlling and taxing only temples and temple land, not mosques, you have terrorists, PFI cadres, rioters being released. You have the Congress leaders defending Simi in court, the chief crying tears at Batla encounter, PM demanding an apology from Denmark for prophet cartoons. So there you have it, Rahul. Unless we go to these three reasons, welfare, vogue fair, warfare, India might as well be Islamic Republic.
Well, then, Mr. Khan, why do you complain about Islamophobia when minority community is so privileged? And we've given you the examples, hundreds of them.
No, minority community is not privileged. These are all the money that the ancestors, the wealthy, rich Muslims from the pre-independence era has left over which the fund which they have left, the property which they have left, over which the government has control, and through which government earns money. It is all a fact. You may laugh, you may laugh, and you may complain why your ancestors did not leave all these properties. And why only Muslims have this concept. But anyway, the truth is sometime very hardship, very hard, to digest for you. But you see, regardless, if we are talking today about the early office release for Ramzan, then we should also talk about early office release during the Jagdatri Puja, during the Navratri Puja, extended holidays in Navratri Puja, and early half day office in Navratri Puja. Or
where? Which is the order?
It happens every day. You are blind today.
Show me the order.
Today you are blind.
Show me the order.
Today you are not going to pull up those order. Today you are not going to talk about those
Show
records.
me the order.
That's
Mr.
what I'm
Khan.
saying. No, you are blind.
Show me the order. If you know so much, show me the order. Show me one government order.
No, today. No.
Show me one government order.
Rahul, today you will only. I'm telling you, I'm showing it to you. You have to hear it.
Dikhaiye.
In order to see, you have to hear it.
That's
today you are
very
blind.
Weird concept.
Today your research team will not pull up those orders. Yes, today your research team will not pull up those orders.
So why don't you
today
pull them
your
up?
research team will not share.
They might have shared.
They might have shared. You will not read it on the news.
Why don't you?
You will not read it on the news, but it happens. It happens every day. It happens every year. Every year. Jagdatri Puja, there is a half day.
Wants to come in for 5 seconds. He wants to ask you a question.
We do not complain. You are complaining.
There is no point.
Since you are complaining, you might as well go and file a case in the court. No, nobody is stopping either you or Ranganathan to go and file a case in the court.
Yes.
Please go and file a case in the court. Since you are so disturbed by this, no, nothing stops you.
Okay, 1 second,
if
calm
the
down.
court
Yes,
finds
doctor.
it is not good, they will scrap it. We have we are not protesting.
We are not protesting. Okay, no wonder you are not protesting. It benefits you. Why would you protest? Yes, doctor.
No, with due respect, be that as it may, Tausif is a very young and able, handsome man. I think he should act in a movie. My name is Khan and I am not sensible.
Anyhow, viewers, look, Mr. Khan has come out and said that there are orders to exist.
Advice.
There are orders to this effect that allow for Hindus to go home earlier from work, etc., etc. Well, viewers, we'll leave it to him to put those out on Twitter, etc., etc. Hope he does so. I'll leave it at this, viewers. There has been selectivity And it is also, unfortunately, now infecting the NDA. I'll leave it at this.
Presented by
While hearing the plea filed by YouTuber Ranveer Allahabadia, the Supreme Court bench came down heavily on him. However, they've granted him relief from arrest. As of now, Ranveer Allahabadia has cases pending against him at Jaipur, at Guwahati, apart from that at Mumbai as well. This very case pertains to remarks which were made on India's Got Latent show. Apart from Ranveer Allahabadia, there are several other promoters as well as judges of the show who are under the radar of various agencies. Particularly when it comes to Ranveer Allahabadia, he had moved the Supreme Court asking for relief from arrest and also clubbing of all the FIR against him. Now here, particularly the counsel that appeared for Ranveer Allahabadia, that's Abhinav Chandrachud, happened to mention before the court that he was receiving death threats and also there was name calling being made against the family members of Ranveer Allahabadia. However, the court mentioned that making comments, obscene comments, just because they had the authority on YouTube does not account for them coming before the court. They also came down heavily saying that such comments are something that would not be permissible before the parents or family. So it's not kind of a comment that one would make. Particularly mentioning of these obscene comments, the court, however, though came down heavily on Ranveer Allahabadia, granted him relief from arrest in all of these cases on the condition that he would have to be present before all these enforcement agencies in person and record the statement. Also, they went further to mention that Ranveer Allahabadia did not